Wave deck. Um, well, this is very confusing deck. Honestly, it took a long time, and there is a reason for it. So let's just get straight into it. We're running Eric because we have a slot in this deck to run because we're running blue bubble based Draco Kid, and then we have the other starters, so we can run him in this deck. And that's why we're running him, and he's also really good looking. So. We're running for Ravon. Of course, it's kind of like obvious by now. Everybody knows it that we're running Ravon for the Blue Wings. The thing with Ravon is that we're mainly running him for the last attack. The reason it's like triple drive has a very good chances of getting us a heal trigger. If you get a heal trigger, you restand. And now, so many people tend to forget that if you check a heal trigger, even if your Vanguard is there, you can restand. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on a Vanguard. So many people like forget that. Like, they don't understand that if you check a heal, your Vanguard can restand and it can have a drive again. So keep that in mind. And the other fact that to rest something and give minus 5k, never rest your booster that gives plus 10k. Like, don't do that mistake. Like, that is just completely stupid. But yeah, you will rest something on the column, like the Vanguard column, and sometimes where we only have that one card to get plus 10k for each column, so you can rest a useless booster on a Vanguard's column, so and that way you can give minus 5k. But yeah, we're running him for that reason. Now we're running 4, it's gonna be confusing, but we're running 4 Glory Maelstrom. Wow, Flash is just insanely blurry. But yeah, the reason we are running him is that if you check a stand, and then if you don't have your enough power, then each of your attacks are gonna be useless. They are not gonna hit. So what's the point of restanding, right? Now, if you are not having a Ravon, in this case, like if you get him on the very first time, of course you're gonna ride something, right? So you will place him, and then if you get a second time, you will just use him again for the power boost. Now, it will not be as good as Ravon, but like honestly, there is no grade 3 in this deck that can be justified to run. We just gonna experiment with the different grade 3s, and Ravon is not even the optimal. People say, oh, Ravon is the best card. No, it's not. It's really not. Ravon is not the answer. It's just the reason we are running because of triple drive, and I guess maybe the minusing power, but it is not the best. The deck is still clunky. It doesn't have a direction. We still lack the power. But with Glory, we still have kind of an option for getting a plus 10k. And if you are kind of confused, and if you don't have the money to buy the VR, or if they are sold out, because Ravon is crazy expensive right now, and you're just trying to build a Blue Wing deck, you can run Naval Gazer or Diamantis. They also works great. So yeah. And the reason I said once we restand we might not have power, for that reason we are also running Riptide. Now you can replace him with something else, but I prefer him because he's also a really good beater. You want to maximize your power as much as possible, so keep that in mind and place him on an appropriate spot. Don't just run around him without don't place your rear guards without calculating the power gains. Don't do that. It's gonna hurt you really bad, because if they restand and if you don't have enough power, you might lose the game. Now for our grade 2s, we are running this boy. 11k base is really good for the Vanguard swings, and also to block other Rust decks, but there might be any. He's also really good for another Vanguard swings when you really stand sometimes. Also, your opponent has a less chance of defensive nullifies. Hope that makes sense. And about the minus 5k, never worry about that. It will never happen. You will always have your Blue Wing. So yeah. Wow, this deck is something. And now we're running 4 of this guy. He restands if you have 4 or more Blue Wings, or else he will get plus 5k. But he's a restander. He's also a good card. And speaking about restander, that's why you're running Turtle Assault. Now, there is an argument for running Turtle or Coral. You can run either of them. I like them both, and Coral Assault is also getting a reprint. So like if you are just trying out Aqua Force and you are only want to build the Blue Wing deck because they are damn cheap. Like these cards are incense. Like it's so cheap. But like if you want to go for it, you can do that. You can run your Coral Assault. I'm really sorry for the glare, by the way. This camera is kind of shit, but yeah, you can run Coral Assault as well, but because they're getting a reprint, so definitely go for it. There is no objection there. But I should explain more. So we're running Tidal Assault because sometimes you will attack, then your Tidal Assault of course gonna restand, but on the very first attack, it's gonna be happening sometimes only. You will use a booster and a Tidal Assault for the very first time, and then you will counter Soul Blast 1 and you will restand your Tidal Assault. If you get lucky on a heal, you might be able to restand your your booster, which will be Blue Wave, of course. If you run Coral Assault, it's gonna be a problem because Coral Assault will not be able to restand, but this guy will have one swing left, and then you will assign all of your power to him sometimes, and then he will just attack again. Even if you don't get a heal trigger, you will attack and he will restand. Now you can use your column at that point, and if you check triggers, you can assign all of your power here because nothing is like restanding at this point when your Ravon attacks unless you have the other restander, and then you will assign all of the power to him, like all kind of triggers to him, and then he will attack again. So that's kind of a bonus point there, where in Coral it's kind of tough to do, but if you place him right, you can have a big numbers, gigantic swings, and you can draw a card. So that's the thing to consider as well. Now probably one of the most important or the most important card in this deck is like you counterblast 1 and then you can check 3 cards, or you have to reveal it and then you can take 2 cards. 2+ in this deck is very important. She will get you your pieces. It's pretty good. That's because of her you will always have your field, and that's why she is very important. Definitely 4. Now other card, I feel like he's as important as this girl. He will get you plus 10k. Insanely important. As I said, if you restand and if you're not able to attack again, what's the point of restanding with the heal trigger, right? He will make sure to have plus 10k. With Ravon, you never ever rest this guy because he is your power gainer. Like, you need him. Like, sometimes when people rest him with Ravon, that's when they lose the game because he makes sure you get the plus 10k all the time. He will help you to attack, like he will help you to hit, so definitely him. Now 3 of this kid, we're running him to get, avoid kind of removals. It's not gonna happen again, but he's useful. So yeah, that's for the grade 1. Now for the triggers, this deck, I swear to god, it feels so confusing. We run 5 crits, now we're running 3 fronts. Now the reason we are running fronts, same point, again and again, same thing. If you restand and if you're not able to hit, what's the point of restanding? Again, I know I'm repeating this a lot, but this is the key aspect of this deck. I have seen so many Blue Wings losing because they are not able to attack again. Important card, very very important triggers. Like, you need your fronts sometimes. It can, it's kind of a clutch, and sometimes it can win you some games. So like, and sometimes it can save you some games because you might not be able to attack again because they might have like 2 defensive triggers and you're fucked. So definitely fronts. We're running fronts for that reason. Now we're running 4 heals. Of course, no shit, right? You can restand, entire field can restand, everything can restand with the heals. Like 4 in 50, but whatever. And then we're running 4 drop EGs. Now overall this deck lacks a boss monster. It's not great, but if you're going for a budget build, you can use Blue Wings because these cards are like in cents, like 50 cents sometimes. I guess the most expensive Blue Wing is around $1 or something. So like, if you are, if you want to build this deck, just get it now, because if there's a really good card comes out in the future, then you might be able to capitalize these cards because you will be glad that you bought it already. And you will avoid the supply and demand shit that happens in the community all the time. So yeah, that was the deck profile. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.